We're now going to take the exercise a bit further by incorporating a hammer-on technique. Now, hopefully you've had a look at a hammer-on technique before. If not, don't worry. We're going to have a quick little breakdown of what it is now. So let's start by putting our first finger on the lowest E string again, because it makes this technique a little bit harder to do when we work on the thicker strings. So we want to push ourselves here. Right, first finger, first fret of the low E. We pluck that once, and then our second finger just comes down with a bit of force onto the second fret. It hammers down. You can see where the name comes from, eh? So we're only playing this E string once, but we're getting 2 notes because of that hammer-on. Now let's just develop that hammer-on technique for a bit. Well, after you've played it once, you've got that smooth, that second finger is hammering down just behind the second fret, tucked nice and close. Smooth, clear tone. Do it 4 times. Plucking the first string each time and alternating the pattern. Once you're comfortable with that, keep your second finger down. Start by hammering the third finger down onto the third fret once. Get nice and confident with that. Once you're comfortable, do it 4 times. Third finger's now down, our little finger wants to come into play, and we're going to develop the strength with this technique for that. Little finger onto the 4th fret. Clear, smooth tone. 4 times. Another 4. Now when you're looking at solos, when you're listening to your favourite lead guitar players, hammer-ons will appear all over the place. Doing this technique is going to develop each finger and make sure they're really competent, really good at playing hammer-ons. Now let's take that a little bit further. We're just going to play our first finger once, but then our second, third and 4th fingers are going to hammer on to the 2nd, 3rd and 4th frets, like so. So we've played the string once, but we've ended up with 4 notes. Really good for building the strength. Every finger tucked behind the fret, nice clear tone. Once you're comfortable there, slide your first finger to the 5th fret, same thing. Then slide to the 9th fret. We're doing that first exercise, but as hammer-ons now. Making good, strong contact with that first fret that you pluck, or the 5th fret, wherever your starting point of those blocking 4 is. We don't want to snatch at the string. We still want a nice clean tone, but we want it to be played confidently. We want to get enough of that note. Again, start slow with that. Use your metronome as a reference. You could maybe put it around 70 BPM, slower if you need to. And on that first beat, play that first note and see if you can land all the other fingers before you have to get to the next beat. If you can't, that's fine. They could all land on the beat. Or they could all exist in between. Start slow, gradually build. To improve the stretching of our fingers that little bit more, in that first lesson, we also did the exercise where we went 1, 2, 1, and our second finger stretched to the 3rd. You can try those as hammer-ons as well. And if you've already done the first exercise we did earlier, when you're doing your daily practice or your regular practice, you should hopefully notice where you've already stretched and warmed up your fingers, they're quite good at making that stretch now. So see how you get on with that, see how far you can push it. Don't overdo it. If you're feeling too many strains around your wrist, stop, relax, take it easy, give yourself a bit of a break. We don't want to overdo anything. We're just looking to gradually stretch and improve the capabilities of our hands. Another development of this with the freshness in mind and alternating things is once you've played the first 4 on the low E string, why not slide to the A string and then the D? and then the G. It's really good for trying to test your brain to remember where your next starting point is, because you're not just going little finger over to the same string, you're now having to jump to the next string and remember what your starting point would be. 5th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D, 13th fret of the G, 17th fret of the B, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Excellent. You can choose where to implement these into your practice. I think they're great things to do at the beginning before you start properly getting into the songs, scales, riffs, lead licks, whatever it is you're learning, because they're a great way of getting your hands warmed up. I'm going to sell that point a lot in this class. But if you find that you've just started to do some chord work, you're playing along to a few of your favourite tracks, you're about to tackle some scales or lead riffs, then I reckon warm up with a few of these exercises before you go any further.